Welcome, welcome, welcome to my kitchen. I am Muhammad the Egyptian cook, and for tonight's live, I will be making a very popular dish in Syrian culture called lahma bil qaraz. In English, the literal translation is meat with cherries, but it's actually a meatballs made with a cherry sauce. So I'm doing this in honor of Syria's recent liberation. And with that being said, I am Muhammad the Egyptian cook, and I will be giving you guys a behind the scenes of what I go through when recording my content or recording my videos for the content that I create and post to my channel. With that being said, first thing that I usually go through is record all of my voiceover audio, which I have printed up right here. So anything that you see that is not highlighted is essentially what I pre-record before I start cooking. That will be my voiceover audio, and anything that you see that is highlighted or above this bold line is where you actually see me saying whatever it is that I am doing in the process of said action. So I have 2 pages of notes here of instruction that I need to record beforehand, and just the very last page is my list of ingredients, and there's still a little bit at the top here of voiceover that I do have to record. With that being said, let me go ahead and just share this really quick before we get started here. Let's see. All right. Let's see. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see here, I have all of my my setup for when I record my content. So let me swap the lights. Let me turn on my camera, which is connected to this monitor here. It does help me see what exactly it is that I am looking at. For those of you who do not know, I am legally blind. I was diagnosed with Stargardt's disease when I was about 14 years old, so it does limit my vision. My vision is 20/200 in both eyes. With that being said, it does present a challenge in my day-to-day process of how I go about doing things, which is also a reason why the font on my notes is so large. This is actually a size 25-point font. And in order for me to be able to read this, I still do have to hold it very closely to my face in order to see the text that I wrote. So let's go ahead and get started with the voiceover audio recordings. So I'm just going to go down the line, bullet point by bullet point, record my voiceover, and then I will use it. And when it comes to the editing process, that's when I will go through and overlay it with said shots. So like the first thing that I say, for example, is start this recipe by seasoning lahma, which is Arabic for meat, with parsley, allspice, ground coriander, ground cumin, sea salt, and black pepper. So all of those points I will turn into an audio clip and then overlay it into the shots of where I add said ingredients, where the camera is focused on those specific ingredients. Start this recipe by seasoning meat. So mistakes do happen as I am going through and reading my lines. I do sometimes stumble on my own words, and that is okay. So I essentially just go through and re-record said lines or said shot as the mistakes do happen. Start this recipe by seasoning lahma, parsley, allspice, ground coriander, ground cumin, sea salt, black pepper, and a splash of olive oil. Okay, sounds simple enough, right? Let's try this again. Start this recipe by seasoning the... All right. Start this recipe by seasoning lahma with parsley, allspice, ground coriander, ground cumin, sea salt, black pepper, and a splash of olive oil. Now form the lahma into meatballs. And set it in a baking pan. When it comes out of the oven, add a splash of olive oil and coconut. I don't know why I stumbled on that last part where I was about to say and coconut charcoal. So let's redo that one. When it comes out of the oven, add a splash of olive oil and coconut charcoal to the center. Let me redo that one. Because me saying to the center, that I don't like the way that actually sounds. So when it comes out of the oven, add a splash of olive oil and coconut charcoal to the center of the pan. I'll say that instead. When it comes out of the oven, add a splash of olive oil and coconut charcoal to the center of the pan. I still don't like that. When it comes out of the oven, smoke it with olive oil and coconut charcoal. When it comes out of the oven, smoke it with olive oil and coconut charcoal. Let's see how that one does. If not, when it comes to the editing, when I go to actually edit this video, I can always re-record my audio if it doesn't sound right or whatever the case may be. Wash your cherry. Nope. Let's try that again. So I'm just going to delete that clip. Wash the cherries in baking soda and nope. All right, let me go back and delete this. Delete that one and that one. Wash the cherries in baking soda mixed with water. That was much better. Then remove the cherry seeds. Let's try that one again. I'm going to say it the other way around. Then remove the seeds from the cherries. Now blend the cherries smooth. Nope, don't like that. Excuse me. Now blend the cherries until you reach a smooth consistency. Over medium-low heat. Add the cherry sauce and 2 cinnamon sticks. Now add the meatballs in. Before serving this dish, let me rephrase that. Before serving the meatballs, pita bread goes on the plate. Set the meatballs on top. Garnish it with toasted pine nuts. And parsley. And it is ready to serve. Syrian lahma bil karaz. Syrian lahma bil karaz. All right, so that concludes all of my voiceover audio recordings. The only thing that I essentially have to record in terms of my audio for lines I have to say are anything that are highlighted, but I cannot do that up until I reach that point or that step in the recipe process and the cooking process. So now that the voiceovers are all done, I can tilt this monitor as such, and then I could adjust this camera and reposition it, like so, and like so. All right. So first things first, that's essentially where I prepare the lahma. Lahma is meat for Arabic. So I need to position the camera for that shot. So I will be using this bowl right here. So let me move this cutting board out of the way for now. This can go to the side as well. I'm going to come around here and move my camera back, and I will also be relocating my phone for this live to better position you guys as well. Then I come back over here once I set up my camera and I look at the monitor, and then I just adjust the angle and the positioning. So that seems like it will be good. It looks like it will be centered here. So as I drop in the meat and the parsley and all of the seasonings, it should be good. So let's go ahead and relocate you guys over here so you have a better point of view of what is happening. One moment. All right, hope you can see me, everything well. I also do need to chop up some parsley and get that ready. So here I have some fresh parsley. Let me get that out of the way. So I need my cutting board again. So right now, I'm just preparing some of the parsley. I will need it for not only the meat itself, but also at the end as garnish once the meatballs are completed. If you are just joining in, welcome to my kitchen. I am Muhammad the Egyptian cook, and I am in the process of preparing a Syrian dish called lahma bil karas. In English, it is a meatballs with cherry sauce. So I'm super excited for this recipe to be able to share it with all of you. We're almost there. Oops. All right, we should be good to go. So I'm just moving the cutting board out of the frame for my actual shot over here. Let me reposition the bowl as such. So for this recipe, it calls for 2 pounds of ground beef. I am using 80% lean ground beef for this recipe. So right now I'm also recording on my other camera as well, and that will be for the purpose of the final recipe video that I will be posting to my page. Let me do that again. All right, I'm just going to wash my hands now. All right, so that was the first shot for it. Up next is the parsley, followed by the allspice, and then the rest of the seasonings. So I'm going to grab a little bowl that I use for the spices, and a little spoon as well. This plate I no longer need, so I can get that out of the way. So for the parsley, I'm just going to come in, put it on the knife as like so. I'm going to add a pinch more of parsley to this. Up next is the allspice, which is this one right here. That was just shot for the allspice. Up next is the ground coriander. Now I'm going to take this shot for the ground coriander. So right now I'm looking at my monitor, which is connected to my camera, to see how it looks before I start recording. Up next is the cumin. Right, next is the sea salt and black pepper. So same thing, I'm looking to my right to line up the shot, checking on my monitor, and once I'm good, I start recording. That was the sea salt. Now the black pepper. Same thing, line up the shot, and then take it. All right, simple as that. Up next is a splash of olive oil. All right, so then after all that, that's where I mix it. And then up next is for me to form the meatballs. Going to add a little bit more parsley to this. And I'm going to continue mixing. If you're just joining into this live, welcome to my kitchen. I am Mohammed the Egyptian cook, and right now I am currently working on making a popular Syrian dish called lahma bil karas, which is Arabic for, the literal translation is meat with cherries, but it's actually a meatballs with cherry sauce is what this dish is. So right now, I'm just mixing the meat, also known as lahma in Arabic. If you've ever seen any of my videos, you may have noticed that I do say lahma a lot, even in videos where I'm not making any type of lahma. It's just something, it's become one of my catchphrases slash words that I say in the kitchen as I am cooking and preparing whatever foods or drinks. All right. So bringing back this plate from earlier. Right now, I'm going to form the meatballs. That's one meatball down, many more to go. So I'm just going to set it right here for now. Oh, there we go. Was able to stop that recording off my other camera. And now I'm just going to continue forming the meatballs. So I start just by grabbing some of the ground meat, squishing it back and forth to eliminate, you don't want any air pockets or anything like that, so I'm just squishing it back and forth. And then roll it quickly like so to smooth it over. Till I reach a meatball. So I'm going to continue that process until I am done. with all of the lahma. So squish it between my hands like such, just passing it back and forth. And then rolling it. And when I'm going through this process right here, I'm not applying a lot of pressure, very light to the touch. And you just form your meatball. Doing the best I can to keep these all the same size, so that way when they cook, they can all be evenly cooked. So starting by squishing it in my hands, passing it back and forth, and then rolling it. Meatball. If you are just joining into my live, welcome to my kitchen. I am Muhammad, the Egyptian cook, and this is actually my first live on YouTube. So thank you for being a part of it. Right now I am working on making a Syrian dish called lahma bil karaz, which is Arabic for meatballs with cherry, is the literal translation, but it's actually going to be a meatballs with cherry sauce is what I am making. I'm about almost halfway through the meat, I would say, roughly. This right here is meatball number 6. So I'm just squishing it first to get any like air pockets out. And then I'm just using a little bit of pressure to roll it between the palms of my hands as such to form the meatball shape. Like that. It's a little bit too much, that'll be too large. There's no such thing as too much lahma, but I want to keep these all the same size, so that way when they bake in the oven, they can all be evenly cooked and consistent in terms of how well they are cooked. So far, I have made 7 meatballs. This one's a little bit too much. Let me take some away. Just trying to keep it consistent in terms of all of their sizes. We are almost there. So this is meatball number 9. And meatball number 10. 2 pounds of 80/20 ground beef, and I formed 10 meatballs. All right, I'm going to wash my hands. All right, I am back. I'm going to clean up my mess as well. All right. Come in with a little bit of soap. All right, we are back in action. So all the meatballs are formed, 10 meatballs. Now, next up on the list, so form the meatballs, which we did. Now I have to line up the shot to set it in the baking pan. So I do need to adjust the camera for that. Let's see. So I have 10. I could do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could do 3, 3, 4. So 3 on the outer, 4 in the 2 rows of 3, 1 row of 4. 2, 3. Right now I'm looking to see like how it looks on the camera in respect if I start on this corner versus here. So if I start here, it starts it in the furthest point, like higher up in terms of the frame of what the viewer will see for the final video. So I'm going to start it here and drop each one in its place. Let me adjust. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands. I also need to turn the oven on. Need to preheat it to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. All right. This plate I am all set with. I no longer need. So I need to adjust my camera. So I'm going to come here behind you guys so I can get to it. So this is the part where I say, bake this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. Bake this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. Now I'm going to review that shot, make sure we're good. Bake this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. I'm going to check it one more time. All right, we should be good. Let me move this cutting board out of the way where it has the parsley. So I will be needing that later. And what I do next actually is I line up my shot of me putting this in the oven. So I'm actually going to go ahead and relocate you guys over here. Let me tilt you down just a little bit. I'm also going to grab my other camera and position that in front. As such. And then I just line it up with the oven. Let's see how this looks. All right, that should be okay. Let's see how that shot looks. All right, very good. Now let me put you guys back over here. Let me reposition this camera. Now I have to reposition the camera so I can record my next shots where I will be working on the cherry sauce. The sauce is very simple to make. 1 second, I'm still working on positioning my camera. So bear with me please, and thank you. All right, so I need my bowl for the cherries, the baking soda, and water, cover it. Calls for a cherry sauce. I need a pen. All right, just making a personal note. I do need to go back to that shot where I say this dish calls for a cherry sauce. I do not have the cherry sauce made yet, which is what I'm about to make, but I will go back once the cherry sauce is made and record that shot. Oops. Go back. All right, I need to, this is where I will be standing, set the bowl right there, and then I need to position the camera so that it is more focused on said bowl. All right, now coming around here, I'm going just looking at the shot, see how it looks, and then repositioning as needed. That should be okay right there. Whole lot of cherries here. So for this next part, I'm pouring the cherries in the bowl. Going to be adding some baking soda and some water just to give it a nice good rinse and to clean the cherries from any chemicals or dirt or any of that nonsense that is on the cherries. And I missed half of them, but that is okay. Up next is the baking soda. So once I finish this step, I'll head over to the sink, drain the water, and rinse off these cherries, and then I will remove the seeds, the stems, and the seeds and stems. There goes the oven. I do need to set my timer. All right. This here. Let me rinse these off. All right, now is the fun part where I essentially remove all of the seeds and stems from the cherries. Let's go back to this actually, move this out of the way, these back in there. I'm just looking to see how can I best position this for the shot. Nope, not this one. To set my timer. Let's see here, timer. Going to do about 17 minutes because it's been a few minutes. It's been a few minutes already since the meatballs have been in the oven. All right, so now is the fun part. that is removing the stems and the seeds. This is going to be a tedious process, but the final dish will be worth it. I still do have to record that shot though, but what I'm doing, the reason why I have not recorded it yet is because I do want to get some already going for what I end up using for the final cut of the video. So this small bowl right here is just for the seeds and stems, and this larger one that is closest to you is for the cherries that I will be using. If you are just joining in, welcome to my kitchen. I am Muhammad, the Egyptian cook, and right now I am currently working on making a popular Syrian dish called lahma bil qaraz, which is a meatballs with cherry sauce. Right now I am currently working on removing the seeds and stems from the cherries to prepare the sauce. The meatballs are currently in the oven right now, baking as we speak. This cherry sauce is a very simple recipe. It's just cherries blended smooth, and then with some cinnamon sticks. The cinnamon sticks are not blended with it. They'll be added once the cherries are blended. Then you add 2 cinnamon sticks, and you heat it up. It's as simple as that. Adding mastic stones is optional. For the sake of my recipe video, I will not be adding the mastic stones. All right, I think I'm reaching a good point where the bottom of the bowl is covered with what I've pitted thus far. So I'm going to wash my hands really quick so that way I can use my equipment. I need another towel as well. Right, I apologize about that. going to wash my hands. Now I need to adjust my camera up. Just bear with me as I adjust that shot. So this part, I actually do have to record a line where I show myself as I am recording said line. Almost set here with adjusting my camera angle. I pull this back a little bit. Alright, so for this part, this is where I say all removing the seeds and stems will take forever. Okay, khalas, use frozen cherries. Oh, removing the seeds and stems will take too long. Okay, khalas, use frozen cherries then. Let me stop that one. Let's try it again. Oh, removing the seeds and stems will take too long. Okay, khalas, use frozen cherries then. Let's try it again. Oh, removing the seeds and stems will take too long. Okay, khalas, use frozen cherries then. All right, let me check and see how one of them looks, and we'll go from there. I'm going to do one more. Oh, removing the seeds and stems will take too long. Okay, khalas, use frozen cherries then. Okay, that should be good. Now I just need to go through the process and finish all these cherries. And once I finish pitting all of these cherries, then I can blend them and I can heat up the sauce. I can smoke the meatballs. The meatballs should be done in a few minutes here, hopefully, if my math is right on the time. And we are almost done. There has to be an easier way to pit cherries. I'm wondering if there's some sort of tool out there that would make this more efficient. For those of you just joining in, welcome to my kitchen. I am Muhammad, the Egyptian cook. I am currently working on making a very popular Syrian dish, which is a meatballs and cherry sauce, or as it is called in Arabic, lahma bil karaz. This is a dish coming from Syria that I am happy to share with you. I'm doing it in honor of Syria's recent liberation and means to celebrate the liberation of the people in Syria. Also, I did recently in this past week, I have been working on creating an online cooking class for you to join. Many of you recently have been asking if I offer any type of cooking classes. So it got me thinking that I should put together an online course, or class I should say, where you could learn a specific Egyptian dish, how to make it. So the first class is actually in a couple weeks on December 22nd, where we will be making Egyptian style goulash, which is a crispy and savory phyllo meat pie. It's very popular in Egyptian culture. Anytime that I personally make this dish for friends or family, there's never any leftovers. It is a favorite among all who have tried it. Even a lot of my followers on both TikTok and Instagram have reached out to me to let me know, where they have sent me DMs of their version of goulash that they have tried after seeing my recipe video for it, and telling me that it was amazing, and their friends and family also loved it. So that will be my first online cooking class, which is December 22nd. All the details to sign up for that class is on my website, theegyptiancook.com. The link is in my bio here. There are limited spots available for each class, so please sign up before those spots sell out. I also have another class that I have set up. I have one for hawashi, which is an Egyptian style street burger. Another one is for kosheri, which is Egypt's national dish. Another one is for morkhia, which is a staple in Egyptian culture. And another one is for kebab halla, which is a pot kebab, and it's absolutely amazing and a delicious way to cook a beef chuck roast. So for the full details, head over to my website, which is linked in my bio, theegyptiancook.com. Still got a bit more to go with the cherries. Once these cherries are all pitted, where I remove the seeds and stems, then we can blend it until it is smooth. Heat it up, add 2 cinnamon sticks to it, and then the meatballs should be coming out of the oven any moment now. 1 second, need to wash my hands. All right, let's turn off this timer. Let me check them. oven mitt before I just grab that with my bare hands. So I'm going to give the meatballs a few more minutes. We are almost there, folks, and I am super excited for this dish. And I hope you are too. I definitely need to search for a tool that makes this process easier, because I would much rather use personally fresh cherries versus frozen cherries. We are almost there. That stem keeps on sticking to my hands, to my fingers. Did not want to go. Almost through all the cherries. Then we will blend it. Well, actually, then we will take the meat out of the oven, the lahma out of the oven. Then we will go from there. Oops. Pitting these cherries is very messy, but that is okay because the final dish will be worth it. I'm working on making a popular Syrian dish called lahma bil karas, which is a meatballs with cherry sauce. Oops. Home stretch of the cherries. Let's go. cubes. We are almost there. I don't want to accidentally drop a seed in this bowl and not be able to find it because I do have to blend this. And we do not want any seeds in our cherry sauce. I think there's about like 10 more cherries to go. We can move on to the next step. I'm super excited for this dish. Making a Syrian meatballs and cherry sauce, lahma bil in Arabic. Got a few more cherries left. Then we can smoke the lahma by adding the charcoal to some olive oil. And then covering the tray, or the pan I should say. All right, last cherry. I'm gonna wash my hands. Get rid of this. Need to clean up the mess I just made. Now I need to set up for my next shot. Turn off the oven. I need to reposition the camera. So just bear with me. I am right behind you here. Setting up, repositioning the shot for my other camera. Okay, drop that down like so. Go down lower. See how that looks. Right. So that's the meatballs. Up next is I need foil. So I'm just folding it multiple times. I'm essentially just turning the foil into a little like cup mold, I guess you can call it, as such. Like so. And then I'm going to take one of these charcoals. I'm going to set this, open this to the side over here. So this is one of the charcoals. Oops. I have it going on the stove. So for this next part, I think it's on the page, the prior page. Comes out of the oven. Had a splash of olive oil and coconut charcoal too. Okay. Just making space. That, right. I have the charcoal going on the stove right now. I need tongs to flip the coal. Oops. All right. The coal is flipped. It's another minute or so, and that will be ready. this cup anymore. Right now, I'm just waiting on the coal. It is going on the stove right now. We are almost there. All right, let me turn my camera back on because it did overheat. Let's try this again. Go check on the coal. Right, so that was that part. Then I need to record my line, cover it to give the lahma a nice smoky taste. So I do need to adjust the camera back up. Need to adjust my camera. Bear with me, please, and thank you. need to adjust one more time. Cover it to give the lahma a nice smoky taste. Let's see how it looks. Cover it to give the lahma a nice smoky taste. Let's try it again. Cover it to give the lahma a nice smoky taste. Cover it to give the lahma a nice smoky taste. Let's see how that one looks. So anytime I record lines like in real time like this, where I actually have whatever it is in front, I always check that footage. Cover it to give the lahma a nice smoky taste. We're going to try it one more time. Cover it to give the lahma a nice smoky taste. Check that one. We should be good. Cover it to give the lahma a nice smoky taste. We should be okay. So I can move this out of the way now onto the stove just to get it out of the way. I'm still going to leave it covered. But right now, I need to work on finishing up the cherry sauce. I then remove the cherry seeds. I did that, blend. Okay, so I need to blend. Where did I put the cherries? Here we go, found them. So I need to adjust my camera for this next shot. Plug this in as well. Cord out of the way. That should do. Here's the remote. So this is going to get really messy really fast. I need to not get carried away with the speed because it will splash all over the place as it already has. I'm going to adjust the camera. So just bear with me as I change the angle. Oops, that was the remote. I think we're good to go. Set this to the side. This can go in here to clean it. Wipe down my mess. So this is just soap and water. Going to dump this water. Good to go. So I'm all set with that. You can get rid of this. Let me unplug this and move it out of the way. Then we can heat up the sauce. this. Also going to need this. Need to adjust my camera angle. Need to adjust my camera angle again to better align it. All right, let's see how we look. Need to lift up the camera just a little bit more. And of course, my camera keeps on overheating, which is really annoying that the battery likes to do that often. At least it's happening in a point like this where I'm not in the middle of actually, like if the sauce was in the process of already being made, for example. So at least that is a good thing that did not happen in the middle of a shot. So all that's left now is essentially I pour the sauce into the pan. I heat it up. I add the cinnamon sticks. Then I add the cinnamon sticks. Then I add the meatballs, and then I plate it, and it will be ready to serve and eat. So we are at the tail end of shooting this recipe video. For those of you just joining in, welcome to my kitchen. I am Mohammed the Egyptian Cook. So the meatballs are already completed. And up next is the cherry sauce, which is right here. These are just blended, these are fresh cherries that I just finished blending right now. Once my camera cools down and it is good for me to turn it back on, I will turn it back on and we can start heating up the cherry sauce and go from there. So we are at the tail end of making a Syrian style meatballs with cherry sauce, which is called in Arabic lahma bil qaraz. I'm super excited for this dish. And once it is all set, it is served over pita bread, and you also eat it with pita bread. I also have some pine nuts here that I need to get ready as well. So I keep that open. So I'm actually going to, where did I put that? All right, let's check on my camera. Over medium-low heat. Let's see how that one looked. Over medium-low heat. Going to adjust the camera angle to get a close-up. Okay, going to bring the camera in a little bit closer and higher for this next shot. Need to tilt it down a little bit more. So right now I'm just centering it as best as I can. So I'm looking at my monitor that is connected to my camera, and I am lining up to the best of my ability. Looks like there are some cherry spots. Let's try this again. All right. Turn the heat back on. It should be good right there. One moment. That was that shot. Let me get the rest of this cherries out of here. Just one moment, bear with me, please, and thank you. Going to turn the heat down a little bit more on this because I do not, oops, I just turned off the heat. Just going to keep it down a little bit lower, like so. Add the cherry sauce and 2 cinnamon sticks. So the cinnamon I have right over here. Oh my goodness. Wow. There's 1 and 2. Great success. Oops, that was backwards. All right, so that was that shot for the cinnamon sticks. Now what's next for me to do, I mix it, and once this fully heats up, then I incorporate the meatballs, which are ready to be added in. This dish calls for cherry sauce. I do need to adjust the camera. All right, that's 1 leg. It's 2 legs. And a 3rd leg. All right, tilt this up, zoom it out. Nope. Need to make it higher. You can also use mastic stones, but it is optional. You can also add mastic stones, but it is Let me try that again. You can also add mastic stones, but it is optional. Let me review it. Let's see how it looks. You can also add mastic stones, but it is optional. Good to go. This recipe calls for a cherry sauce. This recipe calls for a cherry sauce, or this dish calls for a cherry sauce is my next line. This dish calls for a cherry. I can't get it right. This dish calls for a cherry sauce. This dish calls for a cherry sauce. Let me try that again. I think I went too high. This dish calls for a cherry sauce. Let's see how that one looks. I think that one at the end is going to be so-so. Let's see how it is. This dish calls for a cherry sauce. Let me try it one more time. This dish calls for a cherry sauce. This dish calls for a cherry sauce. That one should be okay. Let's see how it looks. This dish calls for a cherry sauce. Good to go. I'm just going to turn off my camera while I'm waiting for this to heat up because of the fact that my camera likes to heat up. Let me clean up my mess. Oh, that's too violent with the bubbling noises because the cherry sauce will splash everywhere. I don't want that to happen. Put that away. Don't need the olive oil anymore. Put that away too. Let me make sure the flame is still on. Okay, we are good to go. Baking soda I no longer need. Can put that away. My kitchen is a hot mess right now, but that is okay. This dish is worth it. For plating purposes, going to use this plate right here. So that is ready. Very good. Let me stir the sauce. So this is a very simple sauce. It's just blended cherries with 2 cinnamon sticks. You can also add mastic stones, but it is optional. Sauce is almost ready. So the meatballs are right here. I'm going to go ahead and remove this, what I used to smoke it, which was olive oil with some charcoal. So that can go. This is smelling absolutely incredible right now, and I'm super excited for this. All right. I do need to adjust my camera angle for this next shot. The next shot will be where I add the meatballs in. So I want the shot to show more of the pan and the sauce. So right now, I'm just adjusting the angle up so that it is higher. Let's see how we look. Oh, need to tilt it down. This to the side over here. Just need to make space for the meatballs. The pan that has the meatballs, it's still a little bit hot. Let me set this over here like this. Okay, it's good. I'm gonna start it here and work my way around. Let me give this one last stir. Okay. Now I can come in with the meatballs. I'm going to start it here at basically 12 o'clock and work my way around. All right, that is all the meatballs. Let me move this pan out of the way. I'm just going to set it on the stove for now. this can go too. All right, all right. Now, up next is for me to stir it, and then I have to plate it. Make sure you coat or cover the meatballs well with this cherry sauce. Let me put the lid on. Actually, don't need that. For this next shot, before serving, I'm all set with this. Here's how it looks thus far. Let me put it on this stove over here as I get ready for my next shot. So I no longer need this countertop stove, so I'm going to set this over here on the table. This next shot, it will be of me plating it. So I do need to adjust my camera. Zoom in just a little bit more. All right, my next shot is ready. Actually going to cut this pita bread into quarters. Nope. Don't like that at all. How that ended up looking. So I'm going to go with the original. This can move out of the way. Let me stir this one last time before I plate it. This back over here. Now I'm going to come in with the pine nuts. Next is the parsley. Let me adjust because I'm going to come in with a turntable. So that's all set. You can put the turntable away. All right, now I just have a few more shots to record and we are good to go. I learned this recipe from at Chef JJ's Kitchen on Instagram. Let me know how I did. Yallah, bismillah. Okay, need to adjust my camera angle up as such. Wow, that's way too low. Let's try that again. Go a little bit higher, my angle. learned this recipe from at Chef JJ's Kitchen on Instagram. I learned this recipe from Chef JJ's Kitchen on Instagram. Let me know how I did. Let's see how that looks. I learned this recipe from Chef JJ's Kitchen on Instagram. Let me know how I did. Okay. It turned out good. It's about time I made more lahma to celebrate Syria's liberation. Let's make this lahma بالقرص. It is about time I made more lahma to celebrate Syria. It is about time I made more lahma to celebrate Syria's liberation. Let's make this lahma بالقرص. See how that looks. It is about time I made more lahma to celebrate Syria's liberation. Okay, come on, let's go. Let's make this lahma بالقرص. It is meatballs with cherry sauce. It is Syrian style meatballs with cherry sauce. Let's see how it looks. It is Syrian style meatballs with cherry sauce. Yalla bismillah. 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 Let me take a quick shot with my camera as well so I can post it to my story. Next shot. I'm gonna take one more, and we are good to go. Mm-hmm. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. In this live, I made this lahma bil karas recipe, which is a Syrian style meatballs and cherry sauce garnished with pine nuts and parsley. I will also be working on editing the recipe video, the final cut for this recipe video, and I will be posting it to my social media pages and on my YouTube channel within the next couple days. Tuesday morning at the very latest, this will post to my YouTube channel. With that being said, thank you for everybody who has tuned in with me for this live as I made this meatballs and cherry sauce recipe video. I am Muhammad, the Egyptian cook. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you already are not, and follow me on all my other social media pages. Also, check out my cooking class on my website, theegyptiancook.com. The link is in my bio. Limited spots are available for each class, so book your spot before it is gone. With that being said, thank you for tuning in to today's live. That will conclude this live, and I will see you next time.